Our next group is the Team Art. And this consists of Dan Cook, Julia Demarais, and Jordan Gray. And they're going to be presenting on increasing park engagement. But let me introduce them to their three panel judges so that they can know who their panel judges are. Di Quinn Reno has been a recreation professional for 28 years with Greenbelt Recreation. She was the chair of the inaugural Leadership Institute class of 2015 and subsequent year. Serving as chair of the LI was one of the highlights of her MRPA involvement. Diane Osei is the Senior Training and Organizational Development Specialist with the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. In this role, she designs and delivers learning experiences for staff and streamlining organization change with technology. In her free time, she enjoys travel, a pre-pandemic, and cooking and yoga. And last but not least, Joe O'Neill, retired from the MNC PPC Prince George's County Parks and Recreation in July of 2018. In his 30 years with the commission, Joe served as the division chief of the Maintenance and Development Division, Northern Area Operations, and of the Enterprise Division. He previously worked in Kent County and Newcastle County as well. So at this time, I give you Group 2, Team Art, presenting on increasing park engagement.
Thank you, Todd. My name is Jordan Gray. I am the Assistant Marketing Manager and Assistant Marketing and Public Affairs Manager for Montgomery Parks.
Hi, I'm Daniel Cook, and I'm the Park Manager of Catoctin Creek Nature Center at Frederick County Division of Parks and Rec.
And good morning. My name is Julia Demarais, and I'm a Recreation Specialist with Montgomery County Recreation, serving the Wheaton Community Recreation Center. And our presentation today will focus on art in the parks. So to start us off, I'm going to read a poem titled "We Are Nature." We often forget that we are nature. Nature is not something separate from us. So when we say that we have lost our connection to nature, we've lost connection to ourselves. And this quote is from environmental artist Andy Goldsworthy. And the photograph on the screen is of Woodline, an installation that he created in the Presidio in San Francisco, California. So why art in parks? Art is a unique way to attract visitors into parks. Outside of utilizing the park for exercise or play, art is a great way to engage participants. Also, today's visitors want to share their life experiences on social media, and art is a great way to do so. We believe that parks and recreation agencies should look into increasing mural paintings and sculptures into the design process for new parks and evaluate opportunities for additional art to be installed into existing parks. So we're going to do a little background now on the benefits of art. There are many benefits to looking at art. Take a few seconds to think about the last time that you visited an art museum. It may have been a while ago, or stumbled upon a mural or a sculpture. How did you feel while looking at a certain piece of art? How did you feel after you left that museum or that park or that piece that you were looking at? Did you think about it later? There are both physical and mental benefits to looking at art. There is an actual physical chemical release. The University of London study showed that when people look at a piece of art that they see as beautiful, there's an instantaneous release of dopamine, a chemical linked to the feelings of love into the brain. There are other benefits as well. Viewing art can improve your critical thinking skills. When you look at a new piece of art, your brain is looking for patterns or shapes, anything that they can connect with to make that is familiar, to make you feel more connected to it. Even if you don't get it, your brain is still working to try and find meaning in what you are looking at. Looking at art is also a way to escape where you are at that very present moment. Looking at art from a numbered time or place can transport you to that time or that location. A study also found that a single hour in a museum changed the way that people felt and thought. The subject exhibited improved critical thinking skills, increased empathy for how people lived in the past, and improved tolerance for people different from themselves. So next, we're going to look at two examples of a reason to visit parks, being art. So on the left, we have a seasonal experience. So this is Brookside Gardens Garden of Lights, which is in Montgomery County with Montgomery Parks. And they transform the gardens into this beautiful light display. And people of all ages come to the park in the middle of the winter time, which is normally not a high traffic time of the year for Brookside Gardens or any of our parks. So it's a great excuse to get out and see the park in a different time of year. On the right, this is an environmental reason to visit the park. What an interesting sculpture, and I think we can all imagine running through that. Any age a participant would enjoy it. So the photo on the right is a molded coir log and willow whips. These projects add to the beauty of the park as well as provide erosion control. So coir logs can be spiraled or snaked through an area to create designs while controlling erosion. Coir is made from fibrous husks of the coconut and is used in potting soil and other gardening applications. And willow whips are short cuttings of the willow that can be placed in the ground or in the coir to create a design or even a structure. So two great reasons to get out and visit a park. And I'm going to pass it off now to Jordan.
Thank you, Julia. Yeah, so now kind of getting into art as a way of communicating messages, right? So art has always conveyed a message both from the artist and to the viewer. So whether that be the beauty of a landscape or in turn the environmental impact hurting that landscape, in that art, it's all in the eye of the beholder or in the creator. So think back to your time in high school, whether it's graffiti in the bathroom or your school's yearbook cover. All things mean different things to some people. But in times of strife, art can convey the current climate or the hope for the future. We've seen a growth in the number of pieces of art surrounding COVID-19 messaging, whether that is in Philly in the photo here, or even more locally in Maryland. The political and health climate in 2020 created a wave of art in public spaces, all with their unique and individual messages. So the messages in the art and the different forms that they can take within art, whether it be within murals or on windows or in the forms of painted rocks or newly created statues. We believe that parks already are great places to visit, but that adding this little bit extra can make them even greater destinations. Which brings us to the messages that can be presented through the art. Right now, during COVID, we here in Montgomery County in the DC area have seen art on the right from LW Art in multiple places saying spread love or stay safe. The messages of hope were especially meaningful during COVID, and many found these new pieces of artwork worth sharing on social media. Taking that selfie, showing that you are outside, still living life under pandemic conditions was important across many generations. Or fun art like planted painted rocks, engaging in your community in unique and fun ways. Or even think about the historic times, whether that could include a message for racial justice or for loved ones lost due to the pandemic. Art can be a public forum for reconciliation or recollection or feelings during that time and place. Adding more art to public spaces, particularly parks and recreation locations, would significantly increase the emotional attachment to the location and make it a space that is a must for physical engagement. So that brings us to why that engagement happens. Art and social media users share that art and engage with it online. So first things first, the message has to resonate. We already discussed the emotional aspect of art, that the engagement with the art is a tie to one's happiness, pride, or a number of other feelings. Second, and more important in current COVID times, is that the engagement or visitation to the art is something to do. Art in the parks, which parks are outside and for the most part less at risk for COVID exposure, gets the user outside. The art can be the destination itself, just like Garden of Lights, or murals against the side of a building, which many private businesses are doing as well. Third, park visitors get enjoyment from both visiting the park, but also getting their likes on social media. You can see from the statistics here from Meltwater about why people share online. We would be hard pressed to find art in a public park that doesn't tick the boxes on all 5 points listed here. But in turn, these points could lead both park and artists in the direction for future installations, making sure that the art can be seen as something that reflects the local community, focuses on bettering the lives of others, and spreads a message, 3 glasses to fill, as art is obviously can be optimistic. So with that said, where are there opportunities for more art? I'm going to pass that off to Dan, and he'll fill in that part of our message.
Thank you, Jordan. Planners can use arts and culture tools to expand their collection of engagement strategies to appeal to diverse populations that is broader than what traditional tools alone can achieve. A multitude of available options gives community members the opportunity to find the most appropriate method of involvement of them. This is a great opportunity to use art to build partnerships that benefit parks and the communities. Parks can provide a place where the artists can engage with the community by displaying their art, teaching the community through programs based on the art, and gaining public interest in the park itself. These partnerships can help in inclusivity, funding, park revitalization, and bring awareness to environmental issues. On the left is a picture of a chainsaw artist carving sculpture into dead trees in Druid Hill Park. So another way to reimagine like something that's sad, we're losing trees due to the different environmental impacts, but it's another way to like give them longer life. On the right is a community project through the Harvest Collective and the Roland Park Country School. And they collected plastic bottles and plastic wrappers to create a bottle brick bench, which adds an outdoor education space to the school. Environmental art encompasses several different forms and practices that engage with them and represent the environment. While many examples can be considered ephemeral, these are opportunities to incorporate art into our existing measures being used for park engagement. On the left is just a simple tulip tree where the leaves are falling, it's fall, and they rearrange the leaves into a kraken, and it's called the Kraken Waves. So another way to bring visitors to something new and ephemeral to bring people to your parks. On the right is the magical portal, and it's a way that you could redirect people like through your trail system potentially. It can be used as an art piece, as also as a redirectional for trails. Parks have a history of being a place for different types of art, and one of those examples are semi-permanent monuments and sculptures. We are becoming aware of how monuments do not represent everyone in communities or are offensive to the communities for which the public area serves. Art can create opportunities for positive change by gaining community involvement and creating art that will represent the community and be able to change with the community. Temporary installations and murals are good ways to change with the times and engage the community around the park. This flexibility will allow a community to have political expression, community dialogue, and shared cultural experiences. And now we encourage you to look at your parks and your future projects and see where you can add art and engage your community in new and creative ways. We want to thank everyone for attending our presentation and for the opportunity to participate in this year's Leadership Institute. Team Art, thank you. And this is our citations. And does anybody have any questions?
Good job. So, art in the parks, I have a question. So, a person like myself who's not particularly artistic, but loves to appreciate art and see art, and would probably like to get a little bit more involved in actually creating art, are there opportunities for volunteers from the aspect of helping create some of the art in the parks?
Yes, Todd, that's a great question. I know in Montgomery County, we have the Art and Humanity Council, and I know that they are always part of any parks projects in terms of especially public art installations. And I believe that they would probably be, I'm not going to speak for them, but I think anytime that there's art or opportunities, you know, they would be a place to talk to. In addition, I know up at, we recently had kind of a recycling kind of art exhibit in a sense. Well, it was actually taking trash found in parks and then filling up these block letters. It was actually done down at the waterfront, Southwest waterfront, but it was also actually done up at Black Hill as well, where they took all the trash and then it filled out letters. So it was kind of curating the art from volunteers, picking up the trash and putting it into an art installation.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Jordan. And I think we have a question in the chat. Let's see. Okay, in the chat. Team Art, what is personal experience curating or encouraging art in your public spaces?
Team Art, that was actually for me. I was curious about your own personal experience guiding these kind of projects in your parks and in your community? What is your personal story in regards to that? It's a great presentation. Really appreciate it.
Like Sue, I guess I could take this one. I was thinking to use this project as a way to start to move forward to do something like that. It was like something that's always been in the background of my head, like Andy Goldsworthy's been around since the 70s. And I've tried to do programs with that, like incorporate that into programs, but I just never like caught on as well. And like, but using this project was a way for me to reimagine it and look at it from maybe a marketing perspective, or where Jordan was able to bring that piece in to say like, oh, well, park visitation during COVID, how to bring more people in there, how to renew it each time. And I was using the project as something I could take away and use in the future.
Yeah, I'll add on to that. I think just for me, I don't have a lot of personal experiences creating art in parks, but been spending a lot more time outside the past year. So just thinking of opportunities and ways that we can do more and do it in a safe way. This is just such an opportunity that even after the pandemic dies down and we do get back to some sense of normalcy, I think that people have really loved their time outside. And I've had great conversations with people about how they've rediscovered their local community and walking trails. And this is just some way else to get people more involved in deeper connection to their local nature.
Yeah, and I mean, just to add on this last little bit, the photo on the background of this title slide is from Dewey Local Park, which is a relatively refreshed new park, right? And it was kind of built into that project. My understanding is that art was going to be part of it. And you kind of compare that to the last photo from Black Hill Regional Park and the boat rental shed, right? It is one of those things where I think all of us, when we have the opportunity, I come from the marketing perspective of like, oh, there's a blank wall. What can we put there? Because it really would create more engagement and also maybe even make it a destination.
If any of you remember the orange shower curtain installation at Central Park, and I remember actually going to that and
I went to that
experience. And what struck me is how it gravitated everyone, whether you liked the art or you didn't, and you dismissed it, you could not dismiss, was hundreds of thousands of people going to Central Park to marvel at the orange shower curtains installation. And that, I think, was when I really appreciated that transforming power. So thank you for calling attention to that.
And that's our time for questions.
All right, another big round of applause. Good job.
You guys did an awesome job. Great job. Great presentation.